Hello and welcome to a Smurd P video, and today we're looking at Uncanny X-Men issue 18. This is the characters. We've got Gail Simone doing the writing, artist Luciano Vecchio, color artist Rachel Rosenberg, and VC's Clan Cows on the letters, and I apologize if I said anything incorrect or anyone's name incorrect in particular. So our story begins with Becca having a nightmare about Mutania, who we saw in the last issue, our new horror queen as such, and that leads to her sleepwalking, which she does on a regular basis. Gambit, who has probably had the most connections with Becca, goes to respond, and Jubilee is surprised to see the young lady up so early. Now she can't cook, however she sort of starts pretending like she's making waffles, etc., and she talks and she says some horrible things about family, and this all stems from trauma. So some people that suffer trauma eventually sleepwalk or go through lots of emotions that are uncontrolled and have nightmares, to be frank. So so they help her back. However, her bed is not in a state to be slept in, and then Rogue takes her in, and this is where we see that maternal love for these children, that care for these children, and that's the sort of thing that Gambit loves it, because they've also sort of become foster parents to these teenagers in some way. So Kurt goes to see his new-found friend, Mackenzie, who and the kids are very happy to see him, and he's invited for lunch, and well, he ends up staying, and you can see that they're starting to perhaps make a nice connection. Romance perhaps is on the cards, but certainly a connection definitely between human and mutants. And then we obviously got this beautiful spread for the late Peter David, an absolute legend, and somebody who I've enjoyed reading his stories for many years. So, Friendship Fest. Now, the X-Men have to decide if they're going to go, and Jubilee hits the nail on the spot. It feels like they're naked in class, because this is them going out as themselves, truly. And I think that is probably something that there are many people in this world that have experienced, those that have perhaps had prejudice towards them, have had to do that, come out and be themselves. And everybody in this world should have the opportunity to be themselves, and that's just what mutants represent. They are a minority that people hate and fear. That sums them up, and it's based on what happens in the world, which is you like to think that it happened a long time ago. And that brings me to my next point. So what they're saying is, wouldn't it be nice if future generations didn't have to live in fear and could come out as themselves? And all right, it's not perfect, the world today, be honest with you. We all know it's not perfect. However, there is a lot of good for those people that fought, for example, gay rights 50 odd years ago. People are out. People are allowed to be themselves and be free. And I see it more and more often. And you like to feel that there is a balance between different cultures as well. But like I said, not everything is perfect. Not everybody has the same experience. So, the world still isn't perfect. The world, people are still sometimes not allowed to be who they are, but it's better. So that's what this story sort of represents, is they've been allowed to come out. This town has given them that. And there's a lot of excitement, and people are taking pictures with them, and everybody's having a good time, even the kids, even though that they've guarded the kids and they're enjoying themselves. Now, one thing I thought was funny, so Rogue says, you know, should we get some food? And Gambit says, I'm not hungry at the moment. Remember, the dragon gave the sort of prophecy that he will feed on flesh. So I think that is like a forewarning towards that. Mackenzie and Nightcrawler go to have a nice dance. And Wolverine recognizes Vic, and he goes to sort of attack him, but he's got it sort of wrong this time. He generally is perhaps being okay, and he says, you smell gas. There were friends of humanity here, and they were going to start a fire here, and me and my boys sort of stopped it, etc. And then there's a smell of fire down the road at a hospital, a children's hospital. So it's all assembled to go save the day. So they discover what's going on. There's 24 patients they believe in, 10 staff inside that they got to free. Now, some of them are not so easily to be taken out because some of them have really specific needs and support that is required from the hospital. It's not just broken bones, for example. So they go in to save the day. Even Jubilee, who's, don't get me wrong, she's a great X-Man, but her powers are sort of, what are they going to do against the fire? So even in the scenario where she is powerless, she is still going inside. And then we get this great moment where Scott Summers, just out of the blue, comes to help save the day. We have no idea how he's there. Vic is there as well, even though they're still not, we're not friends, but you feel like perhaps that could change at some point. And, you know, we get this nice moment with Rogue and Scott. She's like, I love you. And he's like, well, I love you too, you know. It's a family bond here. And Scott's giving orders, and she's happy to take them. For, you know, she's not resistant to it. It's like some of those earlier conflicts have sort of gone away. So the roof is going to come down, and Rogue is holding her own, and pretty much it caves in. Leaving Nightcrawler said, my sister's in there. Everybody's clear otherwise. But they've escaped to applause, a victory. However, it's not the victory Rogue in her mind is thinking, because she's thinking perhaps a little bit more like Cyclops these days in terms of leader-wise, because she's thinking, who set this fire and why? So that is a question. Next issue, apparently Deadpool has a contract. We've got the letters page here, and then we've got... yeah, that looks like it's going to be interesting. Issue 19. I think I'm up to date, so I don't think issue 19 is out at present, but I intend to get solely back on that as quickly as possible. I love the fact that Wolverine looks like he's getting puked down there. It also references the legacy issue, so this is issue 718 in terms of Uncanny X-Men unit runs as well. So hope you like my video. If you do, please do support my channel. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Thank you to everybody that subscribed to my channel. Look after yourself. Embrace geekiness. Take care. Goodbye.